health in data. Health in data is the name I've kind of given to the company in my mind. Okay, this is me going fast. I like the concept. Okay, behind this, if I can explain it a little bit more, but I don't think it's the most relevant part. Now, which is the most relevant part? It's exactly this. Where are we right now? Okay, there's three super broad phases. Problem, is there a problem? Is there truly a problem, something to solve? Is there a solution? Can we fit it? Can we find the right tool for the right space and someone who will pay for it? And then can we produce this and actually get what a company does, which is sell? In terms of problem found, absolutely. There's the more I talk to people, the more I'm like, okay, the problem is this market is absolutely ready for disruption. As a person I was talking, a developer I was talking to, and was telling me, oh, but why would someone want to build this business if they're making money with how the setup of this current industry? It's working pretty well for you. Okay. A little bit my argument was, hey, this person, there's a lot of people that might have want to have a positive impact. But beyond that, you're right. This is coming your way one way or another at some point. Maybe it takes 10 years to be fair, because it seems to be slow. But this industry is going to be disrupted. The level of efficiency does not make sense, given the systems that you showed me, and the email-based PDF, Excel sheet, and then having a smart sheet that you've developed yourself really does not comply with most industries. And this has happened to tons of industries where startups come, see the inefficiency and build. And sometimes they don't even build their own software. Actually, they just utilize software that exists. They build it and stack it in the correct way, and they generate tons of value, which could be an option for us. Okay. Can it be monetized? Yes, absolutely. Can it be... why hasn't it been successful yet? I think because no one has really focused on value. It's been initiatives directly from, for example, the UNDP. Some companies haven't truly focused on this specific problem. They've built, for example, I've seen some other software that's built to enable other things. Does it touch this area? Yes, but not truly focused on this, okay, which I think is key. Then what does the market need? Open data, okay, very important, but then a layer of data analytics. Obviously, just aggregating the data is not going to be sufficient to generate the value, because to generate long-term value, to really be sticky in the market. Okay, then very important point, procurement. I think we talked much more with you about a tool for auditing teams. My perspective, obviously open to debate, but very strong opinion on this. Procurement is, they have the money, they use technology much more. They're much more ready, and they don't feel threatened by this kind of tool. They actually feel enabled by this if pitched correctly. Obviously, they've seen tons of tools, and we will have to do our great work there. But it's very clearly procurement for me, who can be the persona that we target. Okay. And they will pay for your efficiency. And then very important, who will buy this? Actually, the procurement guys will probably use it, but we need high-level, executive-level support. This kind of organizations are complex, and this is the only way it's going to work. And this is where it's absolutely key, your presence. Then, where are we now? We found the problem, the solution fit. Do we have a solution that fits? We think we do, but we don't have anything. And that's the reality. There's nothing. There's an idea. So this is where I'm bringing the produce and sell. We don't want to be producing. You don't want to be putting €500,000. I don't want you to put €1,000,000. Actually, I just think that it can be done in stages, okay, in gates, and then seeing where we're going from here. Then this is what I'll explain a little bit more in detail with the P&L, but there's discovery, minimum viable product. These are the two phases that I'm pitching really right now. I'll show you how much they cost to develop, but this is where we truly map out what in the discovery phase, who and what are we selling. Okay, this is quite critical. We could go faster, but I do think that it's very, very important to do this phase, and it can be done in 4 weeks. But I'm just putting a little bit of a mix here. And then the minimum viable product, this dashboard with Amex information that we will need. We will need some reference in the market that we can justify and tell people, look, this is how it looks. We can anonymize stuff. We can do whatever. However, this is going to be critical. From there, build, pre-sell, and expand. I'll explain a little bit later. Okay. Then this slide. No, more slides. Yes, more slides here. Who will build it? I have 2 organizations that can build it. There's a third there's a little bit more, a bunch of developers. Okay, I'm not confident in working with a bunch of developers, but here we have an INSEAD guy. Actually, I crossed the logos. Okay, this is Tango. Okay, and this guy is Olivier. This guy is Tony. Okay. Tony works for he's actually an employee of this pretty big company called the Global, big for Thai standards, okay, where they have teams of software developers. And Olivier here is an INSEAD MBA from a gazillion years ago, and he has his own organization, okay, based, I think it's in Kathmandu. Okay, the key thing here, I don't believe, and what I've seen in different startups is working with the heads being in one country and then the head of the supplier of the development being in another country, far away, like Pakistan, like Bangladesh. It works, but it doesn't work. Okay, it works for cost, but it doesn't work for efficiency, for delivery, and it's much more important than you spend 30,000 euros instead of 20,000 and deliver. Okay, and these guys are based here. I've met them. They're very reliable guys. Are they as cheap as getting someone from Bangladesh? No, or some developers from Bangladesh? No, but we have much more leverage, and we have their brains here. Why? Because well, doesn't matter. That's a little bit the picture on this. I want to keep the presentation a little bit short. Then what we will build in 3 months, okay, in those 3-4 months of the 3 months of the MVP, we'll build data dashboard, search and comparison. So you can already do that with your tool. We will just enable it at a different level, okay, to aggregate, to add some layers of intelligence, okay, of aggregation, and trying to add value in terms of how they search. And then very importantly, a layer of data analytics. I'm putting here the percentage of level of completion of this for an MVP. Okay, we don't want to do 100%. We just want to demonstrate what this would be worth. How will we test it? This is very important. Management level, high level executives with reports on this, and procurement using the MVP. We'll need to get people to use the MVP. Okay, your team, for example, actually already could be pretty good, but procurement on the other side, it will be essential to use this, and maybe we need to leverage a little bit of your organization. That you need to be comfortable for that. What will success look like? High usage levels, okay, in terms of frequency, in terms of activities, in terms of data points. Okay, these are relatively easy to track. And then very clear, what is success? There has to be a paying customer. If there's no paying customer with the MVP, it can be a really low price tag. Okay, the typical launch, very low. You say, hey, I'm going to charge you 100. No, I'm going to charge you 10 because we're launching with that excuse, but someone needs to pay. If no one pays, we know that no one has intention of following up, and it's not worth the production. Then when we go with this, these are the phases. Okay, you have the P&L in detail in the presentation I'll send you. Okay, basically look at the investments. This is the first gate. Okay, in October 2023, I put October. If it can be done, okay, we can set up the company. I'll show you, but in Singapore can be 10 days. Okay, I set up a company quite recently, and another friend of mine. Takes 10 days if you have the right information, 20 if not. Okay, and then very briefly, where this money would go. Okay, these are the first this 8 weeks until the end of December. Okay, more or less. Obviously, these things will change depending on delays. Okay, cost, software development. I'll change the numbers. Okay, I'll explain afterwards. These are just moving pieces. I think the important part is the software development. Hey, if we want to be zero payroll for me, I'm fine. I put, I think, 2,000 euros, 2,500, because I added a little bit of inflation to the 2,000 that you mentioned you started earning. To be fair, you had a company with people. I don't, so I can take zero for some time. Okay, but best if I'm paid, because that I can pay bills. I don't get that stress. I get stressed when I'm taking out of my savings to pay bills, even if there's enough or not enough in my savings. Okay, the second one, after 8 weeks, that's where we come to the chunkier part, around 70,000 euros. There'll be variations. I'm looking at the numbers, and this is kind of rudimentary numbers, very, very basic ones. Okay, but here is where we develop the MVP. Another chunk of money. Okay, ideally we work on this 2 chunks of money, 90,000 euros, to set up the company, to go forward with this. Okay, and I haven't, and then eventually, if we're satisfied, as we said, we have someone promising to pay, someone that says, hey, I'm going to order this, someone that says, yes, I'll buy this, then we can start developing. We can cut this cost. This is the good thing about working with external companies. We can cut the cost month to month. Obviously, it's better if we have a 3-month commitment, we'll get a better rate in the development. But here I would want to start getting go-to-market cost, okay? Well, initially here, and research costs, meaning, hey, investigation, discussions, even flying to some, having some sessions with some people working, okay, that will be quite decisive. And there is where now we come into the big chunk of money, okay, 218,000 euros to be invested. And after that, my calculations, okay, obviously every startup has made the wrong calculation at some point. I believe that we could be self-funded because seems like we could be profitable relatively easy because the development cost, as I said, this is not very complex. We don't need a gazillion of a team, okay? And we can test this idea much faster. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it, you wasted 90,000 euros, which, as you mentioned, is not that much for you. If here there will be more, and I'm happy also if we get to this level to put some of my money. I'm not happy. I prefer not to put any money, but I do believe that I should put, even if it's a symbolic amount of my money, to say like, okay, I'm also going to lose something if this doesn't move forward, and different levels of wealth that both of us have. Okay, we can make it proportional to that. But that, I think that's normally there has to be a bit of a start of the entrepreneur commitment with his investors. Okay, so that's a little bit the picture. Okay, there's other topics that we'll mention. Okay, in terms of the split of the company, doesn't really matter. Okay, because we would need to, I would need to go into a little bit more detail depending on if you want it or not. But that's a little bit the picture. Let's start. Or I think there's a big opportunity, but we need to build an MVP, and that will cost around 90K. From there on, look, the IP that we develop in any case will be your and my property. I probably have nothing to do with this property unless this makes sense only because Amex Healthcare has the data and because you have the contacts, okay, and I can execute pretty well. You can probably find another person, but this IP will probably only make sense for you anyways after this. So the split IP, we can split it or you can take it. Okay, we can discuss that afterwards. Okay, but I do believe there's a massive opportunity because it just doesn't make sense what's going on, how much money is being spent in this way. Okay, obviously there has to be some investigation. There might be some pieces of software that we are not aware. There's a competitive element here. Okay, that I haven't had enough time or experience or from all the conversations that you had, we haven't picked up, and there might be something that's going on. Okay, and it really seems like it's not professionalized in this level. Okay, for this specific industry, there are other tools that could come in and be used for that, but we have a big opportunity. So just leaving it here. Whenever you have time, let's set up the call. If not, I just wanted to pitch because I'm this kind of eager beaver. Okay, I want to pitch. I want you to listen to this if possible, and ideally have a conversation about setting up the company. And if it doesn't work out, you say, no, this is not what I was thinking of, or I'm not ready, or I spent all the money. Fine, absolutely fine. We keep on. Let's have a meeting just to catch up for our jokes. Okay, we are a funny bunch. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, thanks, Edwin. Let me stop sharing.